Hello and welcome to the Big Face podcast. My name is S1EO, otherwise Face or Big Face, depending on how you discovered me. Um, on this very day, I decided to take a very bold step towards becoming a content creator. I started with writing. I'll get into that a bit later, but I started with writing and I discovered or I envisioned myself to be something better than I was or than I am. And that would be a full-fledged content creator. So I decided to set up a podcast, which will be in form of video and audio. But before getting into that, I should apologize to you if you are listening to me, because I know that uh, you might be bleeding from your ears, because my voice is not the exactly the sexiest thing to listen to. So if you are bleeding from your ears, I apologize for that. And if you are getting visually assaulted, I apologize for that too. But you might have to bear with me because it seems like you'll be here for a while. So the idea for this podcast uh, is to enable myself to learn from other people. I have recently developed the ability to listen to people, especially the intellectual kinds, because I'm not into gossip as much as I usually would be. I mean, I used to be big into gossip. I would just go on YouTube and check up some drama from H3H3 or Drama Alert or Moist Critical or Penguin Zero. The list goes on and on. But I decided to do something different, which is uh, try to lean towards something more creative, something more intellectual. So this platform is going to be aimed at students and those who wish to be entertained. And that's mostly because I'm a part-time clown, and half the time I say sensible things accidentally, and people still find them valuable and listen to them or read them. Because as luck would have it, I'm a writer, and I've been writing them for about, let's say, 35 weeks thereabouts. As at the release of this podcast, this episode, I've written for 35 weeks. Yeah, that's correct. And I've written on a wide range of topics, ranging from philosophy to psychology to history to evolutionary biology to paleontology to um, social psychology to politics to international relations. You name it, I've probably written about it. And so when this episode does goes live, I'll be releasing a blog, so to say, and the blog would be on extroverts because I've written previously on introverts. So it's a sequel to the prequel, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, back to the idea of the podcast. I'm going to be having students on from different departments and different schools, hopefully, as I try to uh, expand beyond my school, which is Obafemi Awolowo University. And I have some amazing friends, and they've shown incredible support. If you are listening to this or watching this, you're probably one of my amazing friends that decided to support me, and I appreciate you because I understand the fact that it might be difficult as a creative to get your things out there. And I think I had the same experience with my writing. So I decided that I want to be a writer after the fact that people would constantly commend me for the things I post on my status, which will be my thoughts on political events around the world or social events within my state, Nigeria. And most of my friends, fortunately, if you are listening to this, would advise that I should write these things on Twitter because Twitter can recognize the fact that maybe I'm contributing something here intellectually, even though the imposter syndrome within me wouldn't allow me to actually recognize the fact that maybe I'm doing something right. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I'm going to have students from different departments come on the podcast, and we are going to hash things out, ranging from their departments to their personal life to my personal life, and on and on and on. But their departments will be like the substructure that we build the conversation on. Next week, for example, I'm going to have a guest from international relations, and we are going to talk on a series of things that relate to his department, and then we will kind of expand from that. So that's general idea. That's the general idea, if I can actually speak. And also, I think I need to add that it might be difficult at first for me to get this podcasting thing right because obviously I don't know anything about podcasting. As I think that was the same experience I had with writing too. I never got it right in the first place, but I have a community of wonderful people around me that support me in the right way and the wrong ways as well, obviously, because I can't have them toot my horn every time. I can't obviously get everything right. So they call to my attention the wrong things I have done, and they commend me for the right things I've done. So this is some kind of way for me to grow into a better person. And I think over the last couple of weeks of writing, I can see that step-by-step growth towards becoming a competent writer. And I can only hope the same adventure for my podcasting journey, because obviously someone is going to listen to this or watch this from YouTube or any other platform and decide that maybe I got some things right or got some things wrong. So this platform will also enable me in some ways to grow. Yeah, it's enabled me to grow because obviously I don't have it all figured out. And if I had it all figured out, I won't be here. I'll be in a different department where I don't have anything figured out. And there's this quote by S1EO, although it is peculiar to writing, but it goes something like, "The first draft of everything is shit," and it's true. And there's also another quote by Nelson Mandela, where he said, "Bravery is not the absence of fear; it is the overcoming of it." And I had the fear that I was going to absolutely bang this thing or do badly, but I'm really not afraid as I would be because of the people I have around me to put myself out there up for criticism, whether negative or positive, constructive or otherwise. But I have learned to mount my responsibilities and learn from my errors. So if you are watching this or listening to this, once again, I thank you for taking the effort to get all the way here, because obviously it's not so easy. To speak a little about my writing. So when I started writing, it wasn't anything fancy. It wasn't that I woke up one day and I decided I'm going to be a writer. That actually wasn't the course of action. What happened instead was that I saw this clip of Elon Musk on Joe Rogan Experience, which is a very fantastic podcast. I look up to that guy. But anyway, so I saw the clip, and the clip was Elon Musk debunking the fact that the world is overpopulated. And being a rational person, I refused to buy that idea because I was always of the idea that, oh, the world is overpopulated, especially the fact that I grew up in a small community, and I would go to school, then come back, and all the trees have been felled, and all the grasses have been cut. More houses are coming up, and it seems like we are losing touch with nature. So I felt angry about that, and I was like, what the hell was he talking about? How can it be so sure that we are indeed underpopulated as opposed to being overpopulated? So I decided to make some kind of inquiries into this fact, and I made about 8 hours research, and I picked up some learning skills or etiquette, if you will, from Oxford book on writing, kind of like a writing guide and writing 101. So I did that, and I developed some skills to put my thoughts more accurately, or in a way that people don't feel that they are being lectured to, rather than just listening to this guy's voice's opinion on something. So I titled this article "Underpopulation, the Myth of Overpopulation," and it got amazing responses from my friends. My friends texted me both privately and publicly, because I was publishing on WordPress then. I still am publishing on WordPress, by the way, but I am more of a Medium guy now, which is another important and amazing writing platform. So anyway, after that inquiries into the fact that maybe the world is actually not overpopulated, I got comments from one of my best friends, Damilola. Damilola told me that I focused my attention on land mass as opposed to resources and human available for said resources. So once again, I mounted on other inquiries into the fact that maybe I left some kind of blind spot. So I followed that blind spot, and it led me to Africa. I found that Africa is actually very, very overpopulated, not the fact that maybe they shouldn't be overpopulated, because it's actually good for them. If you look at it this way, 60% of Africa's population is youth, right? And that's good for us, because it means that if the demography is in a way that the older people at the top can rely on the bottom people to feed them when they are getting older, or when they are going to die young, or something like that. It's good for Africa, but it's not good in a way that there isn't sufficient resources for everyone available. Nigeria, for example, has about 280 million population, and Lagos has like 923,000 kilometers, and it's inhabiting 15 million people. So how would you tell me that the land mass can contain these people? So land mass obviously wasn't the problem. So I began tracing resources and the people, and discovered the relationship between a country's prosperity and birth rate. So it led me to the wide range of things. I was like, why is no one speaking about this? I decided to be the hero here. And so my articles began, they turned to this intellectual thing, and they turned me to a full-blown nerd. I mean, not that I didn't like it, because obviously I like studying. I think that's why I'm setting up this podcast, so I can be nerdy more and talk about things like gaming. We talk about football, we talk about other sports, we talk about international relations, we talk about conflicts around the world. We talk about things that I think you might find interesting and insightful, and I will do my best to bring to you conversations that might interest you, whether that is personal or professional or educational or any other kind of channel. So that's that. I hope you will stick around for subsequent episodes. This is just an introductory aspect to the podcast, the platform. So subsequent episodes will be me having guests on, then we talk about certain things that relate to their department. And as I've said, excuse me, and as I've said, the first guest will be from international relations. So I hope you stick around. And thank you for listening and watching. Have a very good day.